Hi, welcome to the second video of JavaScript, an overview. Today we'll be looking at some of the concepts we missed when we talked about variables and constants. Then we'll be looking at types, JavaScript types and operators. And then we'll conclude with the program flow in JavaScript. Basically, we'll be talking about the conditionals and the loops. My name is Samuel Wanwobi, and I'll be your tutor for this video. Okay, let's start with the concept we missed, or things we missed in variables and constants. Um, One of the things we should know, we talked about variables in the last video. In this video, we'll just talk about constants. So we talked about using the let keyword to declare our variables. What about one of the advantages of using the let keyword to declare our constant is that it can actually change. Since it's called a variable means it can change. Okay, so number of participants is 25, and then maybe later on we got 5 additional participants before the end of the program. Okay, so number of participants, and then we can say 25 plus 5, okay, or number of participants equals to number of participants. Okay, I'll just put the words. I won't. We'll talk about that later. The addition or subtraction of numbers when we enter talk about the types and operators. For now, let's just do it like this. So if we run it, you will see that it's set in our console. So it changed, and basically we can change the values of variables that we declare with let keyword. Let us look at constants. So if I use, okay, if I use constants here, const, okay, and let us try to run it. Okay, normally if I comment this out and then I run, it gives me 25. Okay, and if I try to change it, like I did with the let keyword, we get an error. Assignment to constant variable. Basically, it cannot be changed. We assign it once. So we use constants when we don't want to change the value of the variable. Okay, anywhere in our code, we just want to let it be that way. Okay, we don't want to change it at all. It's not going to be changing by reason of fetching data from APIs or what. It's just going to remain like that. Okay, so that's about constants. On that thing, we didn't touch was using the var keyword. Okay, using the var keyword. So we have before we still using the let keyword actually a recent development in JavaScript. Previously, it was the var keyword that was being used, and then but it's not advisable to use the var keyword now because there are some bugs in the var keyword, and that's why the let keyword was introduced. But we'll just try to run this code using the var keyword, which means variable, and then see what happens. Okay, you see, we get 25, but I will show you something. One of the issues of the var keyword is scope. Okay, and then I will just demonstrate it using this. Um, okay, so number of participants. Normally, you declare a variable before you output it. Okay, so basically we are trying to console.log number of participants without actually declaring it first, and using the var keyword we get undefined. Okay. Um, let's use let keyword and see what happens. I think it's going to be the same thing. Um, gives you an error. Okay. So it tells us that you cannot access number of participants before initialization. So you can see the difference. Why the first one, var keyword tells you undefined, basically you would start looking for errors. But let keyword gives you the error immediately, it tells you what is wrong. Okay, undefined is ambiguous. This error is straightforward. Anybody that sees this error knows what is the problem. Okay, so that's one of the differences between the let and var keyword, and that's why let is most preferred. It's best practice to use let. So now we will go straight to what we actually have for this video, which is types, um, operators. Okay, and then later we will talk about um, program flow. Okay, so I will just cut this and paste them here. Basically, cut this here. Okay, so the first type we'll be looking at is numbers. Just like we have number of participants, it's a number. So in order to get there's a special operator called type of. It's an operator. Um, this operator is a symbol that operates or changes some value. Okay, but basically it tells us the one other thing it can do is basically tell us the data type of a given variable. Okay, of a given variable, the data type of a given variable. And we'll just be implementing it here. So we'll just type, okay, number of participants. Okay, it's expecting, let's see. Okay, it's not supposed to, just supposed to, I think this is supposed to work. Did I type it wrongly? Type of, okay, I typed it wrongly. Okay, so yeah, it gives us the data type that it's a number. Okay, and we'll just be going through some things about numbers. Um, okay, the first thing we're looking at is, let's take for instance radius. Um, just radius the radius of a circle is 10 centimeters, and then let's look at the since we all know pi is a constant. You know, in mathematics, if you've done mathematics, pi is a constant, always a constant. So that's why we're using const instead of the let keyword. So it's 3.14. Okay, we can see type of pi. So you will see that even though it's in decimal, it's still going to be a number. Okay, it's still a number. Okay, so we can console.log both at the same time by just saying radius pi. Okay, so it gives radius 10 and pi 3.14. So we're going through some operators in JavaScript. Um, I will just results. Okay, so I would create another variable, let results was okay, and then I can basically use the variables and add this variable, the previous variables, that's the wages and pi variable, or I can do any mathematical operation with the wages and pi variable and store it in results variable. Okay, which I'll be all be logging to the console. So let's see. So radius plus pi. Let's see. So radius plus pi is 13.14. That's 10 plus 3.14. Let's use the minus operator. Okay, radius minus pi gives you the decimal 6.8599. You get it. We'll use the multiplication operator. Get it. 31.4. So this is the result basically, and we'll use the division operator. The division operator is used with the forward slash, just like this, and then you run and you get the answer. Okay, there's another operator which is called modulus. It's usually used to look for the remainder. Okay, after a division process, what's remaining? I'll take it from a simple standpoint and we'll go into a more complex one. So let's say, give or take, we round off pi and pi is equal to 3, making it just rounding out to a whole number. We know what an whole number is, or an integer. So pi is equals to 3, and then if we change this division to the modulus operation is represented by the percent symbol, and then you can see 1. So normally 10 divided by 3, 3 times 3 is equals to 9, and then 10 divided by 3 is equals to 3 remainder 1. Okay, so that's why you can see 1 here. Um, There's another operator that I want us to consider, and that is the to the power of, to the power of, to the power of, and it's written this way with 2 star. Okay, to the power of pi. To radius to the power of pi. And let's see, we got our answer is 1000. So 10 times 10 times 10. So 10, this is the same thing as 10 times 10 times 10. Okay. It will give you 1000. Okay. So that's basically it for the mathematical operators we can use with numbers. Now, one of the questions that you can ask is, what if we have something like this? Let me see. Okay, let result equals to 3 plus 2 times 2. Okay. Normally, we will think, okay, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So normally we would say the answer is 10. The result ought to be 10. But in JavaScript, there's an order of operation. When you have 2 or more operations in a given line of code, in a given line of code, in a given expression, because it's called an expression, uh, there's a precedence of operators you have to use first. Okay. And then there's a way to actually make the operator we want to be used first a priority. But first, let's before we go into that, let us run this code normally, and then you you can see that it's not 10. Okay. So what happens here is first I'll just give us the operator order of operation or the precedence for operation. Okay, and then I will be using MDN. Okay, let's search Google search MDN operator precedence. So MDN stands for Mozilla Developer Network. It's a very easy way to um, get help. Okay, community in which you can just get help. They have so many resources online that you could get help from. Okay, so presidents. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. So this is the president's table. Okay, and the higher the precedence, the more priority it will be given when solving mathematical problems, or in an expression, the more value priority to be given. Okay, so we have here the top at the top we have brackets or grouping. Okay, look at it, bracket. So once there's a bracket in any expression, that bracket ought to be solved first. The values within the bracket have to be solved first before any other value is solved. Let's look at, for the example we had 3 plus 2 times 2. So we'll just go down, I think, yes. So here we see multiplication has a precedence value of 13 and is sorted from left to right. Multiplication, okay, you have exponents like I showed you, that's the power of. Then you have multiplication, you have division, you have modulus before you have addition and subtraction. Okay, so in what happened here in our example is that the multiplication was solved first. So 2 times 2 is equals to 4. And then 3 plus 4 is equals to 7. Okay, and if I wanted to make precedence of 3 plus 2 so that I will be able to get 10, if I wanted this expression to be 10, what I would just simply do is include the brackets um, and then call it parentheses. Okay, parentheses. I include the parentheses, and if I run it, we get 10. So the values within the parentheses is solved first before any other expression is considered. But one of the ways, in mathematics, mathematics, you have what we call board mass. It helps us to know the priority or the precedence of operators. For here, we don't call, it's not called board mass. Um, sorry, it's called big mass. Okay, that's it for simple, but normally you have to use this operator precedence. But on a short form, big mass. So B starts for bracket, I starts for index. That's index of. Then you have actually it's supposed to be multiplication and then division, I guess. Yes, multiplication and then division. Um, so we can put this and in that. Okay, multiplication, division, then addition, and then subtraction. Okay, that's that about the order of operation. Let's look at how to solve simple equations using these operators. Okay, so let's say you want to basically we can say the radius changed and we say radius is supposed to radius plus 5, and then let's result equals to radius multiplied by pi. Okay, so okay, okay. Uh, Normally the rules are strict here. Okay, so what we get is 45. So basically what it did was 10. Radius is equals to 10. Okay, and then we change radius to be radius plus 5. That's 10 plus 5, which is 15. And then we're multiplying 15 with 3 here, radius multiplied by pi. And that's how we get 45. Okay, let's say we want to log not results, but radius. I will see it's 15. But one of the easiest ways of writing it this way, radius equals to radius plus 5, we can use this just for more to optimize our code. We can just say radius is equals to radius plus equals 5. Okay. It's or let's just put this. There is no need for this. Just this as simple as it is. Radius plus equals 5, and then we consider log radius, and we'll still get 15. Okay. So what it does is this operator. What it does is it adds 5 to it and gives you the answer. So you don't need to declare the or write the variable anymore, the name of the variable, just like we did earlier. And what we did earlier was um, radius equals to radius plus 5. Okay, this is what we did earlier, but there is no need. Okay, you not only for addition, this can be used for subtraction. Let's use subtraction. It's 5, we get 5. Let's just use multiplication. Okay, we get 50, and let us use division. Let's use division. Okay, uh, network issues. Okay, we get 2. Okay, which is the right answer. And I think we can also use the modulus of, and we try to run it and get 0, because actually the modulus 10 divided by 5 is equals to 2. There's no remainder. Okay, and then let us also look at. I think that would be that for uh, numbers. We can also look at negative numbers. Like you have to deal with negative numbers in JavaScript. So if we have something like let results equals to radius let's say radius equals to radius minus 2. Okay, and let us see. Ah, okay. Results. Okay, so it's 12. One of the ways to actually this actually looks confusing, to the reader. So one of the ways to make this more readable is to put brackets here. It's going to be more readable to the user, to any programmer. It's still going to give you the same answers, but the best part is that you put where you have um, multiple operators together, you use brackets to separate them, so you get to know what you're doing. Okay, also, let's see. There's also a symbol, the plus plus symbol, minus minus symbol, which is called the increment symbol. So let's say, uh, okay, radius equals to radius plus plus. Okay, and then go to radius. Okay, we ought to get 11. Okay, uh, let me try it here. Okay, okay. So what we ought to get is 11, and then we can also let me try it the other way around. It should work now. Okay, yes, 11. So it is used before the variable name. Okay, so plus plus radius will give you 11. The same thing with minus minus, it will give you 9. Okay, and that's that about numbers. So just go to strings. Okay, strings is another important and wide uh, data type in data type in JavaScript. So let's say let's okay, let's say let first name be equals to okay. So strings are series of letters, numbers, and characters in quotes. They have properties, yes, which can be accessed using the dot notation. They also have methods which are used using the dot notation and parentheses. Okay, so one of the things one of the things that have been said here is that they are series of letters, numbers, and characters in quotes. So one of the ways you can be able to identify strings is that they are always in quotes. Numbers, like we saw here, are like we can see, it's a plain, no quotes. But for strings, we can either use the single quotes like this. First name equals to uh, random, okay, and then we have last name equals to. We can also use double quotes and okay. And then if we log any of them, let's see, first name, log first name can see it is Brandon. Like we did for numbers, we can see type of, okay, and then we get string, okay. Another thing we can do with string is that we can actually, okay, another way we can write strings is using the, I'll just take this off, using the backtick, okay, backtick, and I will just let's see, okay, about that. Let's full name be equals to the backtick is the number before letter one on your keyboard. Okay, so that's the backtick symbol. And then we can just say, okay, what are we going to write? Let's put Brandon. Okay, let's say Brandon Anderson. So Brandon has a brother named okay. So we can console.log full name, and then we get Peter. You can see it still works like the rest. But one special thing about the backtick is that you could add the variables inside. So let's say we want to put the full name of Peter. Okay, okay. The full name of Peter, like since Peter is the brother of Brandon, we want to say, okay, the full name of Peter is Peter Anderson. We already have Anderson there, so we can just say Peter, and then using the dollar sign and curly brace parentheses, okay, curly brace parentheses, and then we put last name. Okay, I just want to see the syntax, okay, and then if we run it, we have Peter Anderson. Okay, that's it about strings. There's some other things about strings, which we include string manipulations. Okay, we will just take a few of them. Um, another thing is, okay, let's see. So strings, you can actually use space on strings, and if we say, okay, first name, wrong, it doesn't give the space. Basically, or let's say first name space space space. Um, Brandon is a boy. Okay, okay, it gives the space. Because we're using console.log, but in practice, when you're using, okay, using it for either for web development, these spaces will not be there. Okay, they won't be there. JavaScript takes it as one. Okay, the same thing here. Okay, so one of the things we'll talk about string manipulations, we'll also look at some methods or some one of the most important properties of strings, which is dot length. Dot length. Okay, so we'll just go through it with Okay, another thing about strings is that we can actually concatenate strings before we go to dot length. Concatenate strings is like adding two strings together. So we have first name and last name. So the full name will be first name plus last name. Okay, and then we'll just sort of go with full name and then try running it. Okay, you say Brandon is a boy, Anderson. Okay, let me increase fonts. Okay, single quotes. We try running it and then we see Brandon Anderson. Notice there's no space between the Brandon and Anderson. So what we can do is create another concatenation whereby we include the space, and then add it again, and there you can see the space Brandon Anderson. Okay, that's about concatenation. So we'll just talk about dot length of strings. So let's size equals to first name dot length. Okay, so we will then size and then we will run 7. So let's look at first name Brandon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the length of the string is the number of characters in that string. Number of characters in first name, which is Brandon, is 7. Okay, this is called a property. And that's why it is written this way. Okay, there's difference between property and methods. We'll look at that. But first, I want us to notice that the size is a number. You can see its left size is a number. We can run type of on it, and then we see the number. So it gives us the number of characters in a string. Okay. So on that thing we'll be looking at is the methods, okay, in a string, and the we use dot notation and parentheses this time. So let us say first name. So if we say first name dot, okay, one of the methods we use is to lowercase. Okay, then we complete size, which is not a good variable name for this. We can just say lowercase, first name lowercase, but just for tutorial purposes, we're using size as a variable name here. Okay, so lowercase, first name to lowercase. Okay, so you say function to lowercase. So it's a function, it's a method. Functions are methods. Look at the way I wrote it. I tried writing it the way I did let's okay, the way I did this um where I was trying to call this property. So this is the difference between um properties and methods. So this is a property. But methods can't be written this way. They have to come with parentheses. Okay. So a property dot length, a method dot lowercase. You can see the method. Okay. And then if we run the code, you see Brandon all in lowercase. we can say to upper uppercase, and we run, and you see Brandon in uppercase. There's so many other methods that you can use in JavaScript concerning strings. You have last index of, you have slice, you have substring, you have replace, and depending on what you want, okay? And there's also using of special characters in when we talk about strings, okay? Let's see, console.log first name, okay? And the first name is Brandon. So let us say I want to put full name here. Okay, I'll just change this to full name. Okay, so Brandon prefer using the double quotes for strings. That's a personal preference. Okay, Brandon Anderson. Okay, and then let's say I want to make the Anderson a double quote. Okay, put the double quotes on Anderson. Okay, I can, instead of putting additional double quotes like this on Anderson, it's going to give an error, obviously, because we can see that it's already been striked out. There's no need to run it. One of the ways we can do this is to use the backslash. So it's backslash, you put the symbol you want, like these quotes, double quotes, and at the end, so backslash double quotes string, another backslash double quotes, and then before the quote that actually terminates the string. Okay, so these double quotes, open double quotes, close double quotes. This other double quotes is part of this syntax. Okay, so backslash double quotes string backslash double quotes. If you run it, you can see it, Brandon Anderson with double quotes. If you want to know more, this operator precedence, we can search string. Okay, this is types of strings we have here. You have the property of string length, like I said. These are different methods that can be used on strings. You can see that by this side. And then these are different ways, escape sequences, they call them. Okay, where you have to use the backslash. This is what we did, the backslash double quotes. You have the backslash single quotes. Backslash n is when you want to go to a new line. Okay, there are common common escape sequences that are being used for strings. Okay, next we will go to converting strings and numbers, converting strings and numbers to numbers and vice versa. So if we have a, say a number, let's size equals to 14, okay? And we want to convert 14 to a string. It's easy. Um, what we need to do is use the dot, okay? Let's let's put size is equals to size dot string. Okay, so this actually converts size to string. We'll look at it here. What I want to do is size um, before now type of, okay, type of size. This is a number. Where if we uncomment this code and we run it, let's, okay, it ought to convert to string. Okay, dot to string, ought to convert to string. Let's, so basically that's what converts it to a string. It's a function. Okay, so you see the mistake I made earlier. So it's a function. So I'm trying to use it as a property, whereas it's a function. Okay, so if we run it, it gives us string. Okay, if you want to convert a string to a, let's see, this is a string. Once there's parentheses, it becomes a string. So we can comment this, and then if we run it, type of, it tells us the string, and we want to now convert it to a number. It's a little bit more complicated than strings. So what we'll do is size is equals to number dot pass float, pass int. Okay, uh, pass int, and then we have 14 here. Okay, so if you want the type of size, you see that it's a number. Okay, type of size. It's going to also give us 14. So it basically converted the string to a number. That's about that. We'll go to booleans. Booleans are yes or no, basically. Um, for true, we have yes or some number, and then for no, we have for false, we have no or some number. Okay, let us say let's 8 equals to true. The console dot log type of 8. Okay, tells you that it's a boolean. Okay, if you put page, it's going to run, let's say that is true. If you put false here, it's going to be the same thing. Okay. Booleans are usually used for conditionals. Okay, and then there's another property of booleans. You can actually flip booleans. Okay, let's see. Page is equals to not. So this exclamation mark is not. The way you say not whatsoever. Once you say exclamation mark, it's not. So page is equals to not page. If you run it, it's going to give us true. Whereas the false boolean was stored in page. So page was normally false, but since we flipped it using this expression, the exchange, the flipped it basically. It turns true. It can be used for some. It has some use cases though. Another data type we'll look at is null or undefined. Okay, let us see. Let page is. Let's not declare this variable. Let us do it like this, and we run it. It gives us that it's undefined. Undefined means variable has not been initialized, like we said before. Okay, but let us see page is equals to 10, and then we put page equals to null. So we have, like I said, this is null and undefined data type, null and undefined. So we get null. So the difference between the two is in JavaScript, we set a value to undefined when they are not initialized. But for null, a programmer will assign a value to null when they want to wipe out the value of a variable. It's the best practice to actually use null when you want to wipe out the value of a variable. So we want to wipe out the value of the variable page. We use null and it just wipes it out. Okay. Another one we'll be looking at is objects and symbols. We'll be looking at this later on. Okay, next later on. We're looking at objects and symbols later on. But just for us to know, symbols is a very advanced type. Okay, but we'll basically be looking at this when we look at objects in full. So let's see objects, the use case of objects, how to just use a simple object. So objects is almost the same thing like variables, but not variables. You can store it multiple properties. Uh, so use objects are written this way with curly braces. Okay. So full name is now an object. Okay, full name is now an object. So it can have properties like first name, like we said, and that's okay. Let's use Spider-Man, Peter, and then last name. We can use Aka. Okay. So this is not what we're supposed to use. We're supposed to use comma. Okay. So we can run full name. So you have first name Peter, last name Papa. One of the advantages of objects is that basically we can make do with we can print out specific properties. These are properties, first name and last name. They function like variables that they're similar to variables but not variables. First name and last name properties of this object. But we can pick one particular object that we want to use, like first full name dot last name, and instead of bringing out with a packer, it will just give us the last name packer. Okay. Um, a symbol can be used as a property in any object like first name, but it is hidden. But basically, symbols try to they hide properties. Yes, they hide properties. And that's it for types and operators. And let us go to, I think in the next video, I'll just cut this video short so we can be able to look at program flow in the next video. Program flow deals with conditionals. Okay, so thank you so much for staying tuned to this video. You can practice and practice and use these sites to get additional knowledge about the methods you can use actually for strings. Okay, just put MDN JavaScript, Mozilla Developer Network. That's the meaning of MDN. Okay, thank you so much for staying tuned. Okay, thank you so much for staying tuned. Bye.